and to my knowing is the longest running Michael Myers, him and Nick Castle. But yeah, that Why, hello there YouTube and welcome back to 31. So we're on day 26 now and day 4 of Halloween week, and today I am reviewing 2018's Halloween. So yeah, I did review all these films, the Halloween franchise and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, etc. back in year 3, but it's been some time and I've revisited it all, and I want to, because I'm going to just review it again anyway, revisit. So this, of course, takes place 40 years after the events of the first Halloween film, ignoring all the sequels, including Halloween 2, so in this, Michael and Laurie are not siblings because the events of Halloween 2 do not exist in this timeline. And, some podcasters want to, make a podcast about these events of 1978, and Dr. Sartin, who was a student of Dr. Loomis, now is in Michael's care. Well, now Michael is in his care, and basically during a transition, a bus crashes, Michael escapes, but survivor of that night, Laurie Stroade, has been preparing for the last 4 decades and has gone all Sarah Connor. Of course, she's also had a daughter and a granddaughter called, her daughter Karen, and then her granddaughter Allison, played by Judy Greer, who plays her daughter in this timeline, and Andi Matichak, who was playing Allison, her granddaughter in this, and is basically PTSD struck by the horrors of that night. And when Michael escapes, he goes on a bloody rampage throughout the town of Haddonfield, striking terror. But then in a big twist of events, we find that his doctor, Sardine, or whatever his name is, staged and orchestrated the whole thing to see Michael in the field to see if he can get him to speak. And of course, Michael doesn't. And he finds Laurie's home, and he finds that she's home alone the whole house, and traps him in a fire, leaving him to burn, only for him to escape not long after, taking us into the events of Halloween Kills. So I'll leave that there because we'll get to Halloween Kills. Anyway, what did I like about this? Well, when I first found that this was going to be in a timeline where only the original film is canon, I thought, and they said that Michael and Laurie aren't going to be siblings this time, I thought, no, that's always been the whole driving point for the franchise. But you know what? David Gordon Green, showed that they didn't need to be siblings for this to work. They still acknowledge it though in one scene where Allison's walking with her friends and they say, weren't they siblings? She goes, no, that was just a rumour. I like that they still acknowledged that for old fans. I also loved that they got Nick Castle back to play Michael very briefly. He had very brief scenes in there. Of course, a chunk of the performance of Michael was of course played by Jude Courtney, who would go on to play Michael through the next 3 films and to my knowing is the longest running Michael Myers, him and Nick Castle. But yeah, that whole scene where, you know, Laurie sees Michael in that house and she shoots and it turns out to be his reflection in the mirror, I knew for sure that's definitely Nick Castle cameoing in that part. But James Jude Courtney, I think, did a great job playing Michael, you know, giving him the old man Michael. In fact, Michael was basically still a walking killing machine, and he just, you know, went all out killing, and that white pale mask, it looked old and decayed, but still he looked spot on and fantastic, and I loved it. And a lot of fans loved it, you know, and I think we were all surprised how this actually worked well and how well it did. And of course, it was the start of David Gordon Green's, you know, legacy Halloween trilogy that we got. And of course, I guess you don't need to watch the first movie to get the events of this one, because they pretty much do explain it, but I prefer to watch the original because knowing what I know of the series. But you know, just in case there were like a new generation of horror lovers, you know, they thought, you know, but you know what, I was thinking, how did they recapture Michael and that, you know, at the end of the first Halloween? Of course, the questions get all answered in Halloween Kills and that. But yeah, I loved the showdown between Michael and Laurie, and also Judy Greer playing Karen, you know, in this, when she finally amps herself up. And that scene where she's in the basement and she's like, can't do it, she can't go through with all this, and she whimpers, all to trap Michael. I thought that scene was brilliant. I thought, I knew she was having us on just to lure Michael in. And then that whole final showdown when Michael gets locked into trapped, should I say, into the basement, and Laurie sets the place ablaze, when she's like saying goodbye Michael, and Michael looks up. I like to think that he's like saying to her, got me, well done. You know, I just really loved the on-screen presence between these two in this one. And if they didn't make another Halloween movie after this one, I would have been fine with it, because, well, I just would have, because it didn't, I mean, it did carry on into a sequel which were announced not long after this one came out, and was meant to come out in 2020, but was delayed for obvious reasons, should I say. But, you know, this was a great follow-on and a great, you know, and they even got John Carpenter back as like an executive producer, and, you know, to provide the score of the classic theme. And I loved how the opening credits roll as well, how it shows like the pumpkin from the original one, how it like regenerates and grows back, because pumpkins tend to do rot away over time. But yeah, this was just a fantastic requel, and was probably the start of the whole requel craze, because we got Scream requelled, and then we're getting The Exorcist. In fact, no, at the record, when this video is out, you know, The Exorcist, you know, Believer will be out, because David Gordon Green's doing a whole trilogy with that now. But Halloween, you know, I gotta say, job well done to them lot, because I just loved every second of it. I loved our introduction of new and old characters, and, you know, like I say, it had been the first decent Halloween film I'd seen, and probably a lot of us fans had seen in a very long time. I mean, the slow drama, I didn't mind it. I just truly enjoyed watching it, and it's like, you know, the whole thing with Michael and Laurie not being siblings, I think it works. They still had that connection, and were still, you know, enemies. Like, they both had that vendetta with each other. And, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis coming back to play a different Laurie, because in all the other timelines we've seen her play Laurie, she's not been like badass, she's been like prepared for it and stuff, but in this, she seems to be all tough and action heroed and ready. You know, instead of being a final girl virgin and what have you, she's a badass old woman who isn't afraid to take down the Shape. And, you know, it's just, it was a great sequel. Or requel, should I say. So what am I going to rate Halloween 2018? You know what? it may not be in any 1978 Halloween, but I thought this was a great way to mark 40 years of the franchise, of when it all started. You know what, I'll give Halloween 2018, you know what, I'll give it 5 stabs out of 5. 5 stabs out of 5 for Halloween. So there you go. There's my review for today on Halloween 2018. Excuse me. So yeah, that's it for today. So have you seen it? Do you like it? Do you think it's overrated, etc.? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and share with your friends. And feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are linked down below in the description, so you can check all out. You can watch all of 31 from the beginning on this channel, and you can also see all the other theme weeks I've done as well over the month. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for some more 31, where I'll be going over another Halloween movie. Not like, you know, the slasher series Halloween, a film set on Halloween and what have you. Anyway, yeah, see you tomorrow, and until next time, don't have nightmares.